that because it had its glitches. September did have its glitches, eh? Upon reflection.
Quite a few glitches, actually.
Upon reflection, there were quite a few external issues and tissues that we have now taken and flushed down in a place where we never want to see them again. So to be able to have a new page is truly a blessing, and I'm very excited to be here.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Listen, the 1st of October is International Coffee Day. You know, are you a coffee? You are a coffee drinker, aren't
Absolutely not.
you? You're not a coffee drinker.
Tea any day. All types of tea.
You're not a
Herbal teas.
Matcha what? Matcha tea, that green one?
Can I make an admission?
Yes.
I've never in my life drinking that thing.
Lulu just told me about it because I was also like, what is it? So apparently it's like it's tea, but
Yeah, but it's like green,
green
powderish.
with caffeine.
Yeah.
So she was like, if you're going to drink matcha, don't drink it like past 2-3 p.m. because otherwise you're not going to sleep because it's got a high concentration. But I thought maybe that's because it's green. It's your kind of vibe.
No, the green stuff I'm drinking now is lemon balm tea.
Lemon balm tea.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a type of leaf.
Lemon balm.
Yes, lemon balm
Balm tea.
Yeah, so you just take
That's
the herb
interesting.
and you seep it in hot water.
Yes.
And you drink it, darling.
You made this yourself.
No, I mean you buy lemon. You can buy lemon
okay.
balm at
No,
the
I
pharmacy.
have to ask Mmatsheko because she makes everything. Literally.
Yeah, no, I make my own food.
Everything. All right. It is International Coffee Day today, and with Nespresso, and we'll be celebrating that with an ambassador from Nespresso to tell us about the heritage of coffee on the African continent, turning heads around the world. We think particularly of the coffee in Ethiopia, right?
The finest.
So you're not a coffee drinker?
I'm
never
not
been?
No, it's really just not my thing.
Okay, it's just not.
Yeah, I've tasted coffee, although it's just really not, you know. But maybe I'll be converted after this conversation. Who knows? Strangest things have happened.
Absolutely. If you're a coffee lover, look forward to that conversation. Then we head over to the Karoo Origins Fossil Center at the Drosti Hotel, where millions of years of history are being brought to life in Graaf Reinet. And then finally we wind down by literally winding down the volume with a Wild Coast Sun Silent Disco. I'm trying to picture it. You're out here dancing there by the beach, there by the set, there by Wild Coast, under the stars, and you've got your headphones on. But no one can hear there's no noise, there's no music. Only you can hear this music.
I really like that idea.
You just look like a bunch of weird people just dancing around.
No, but there's something so beautiful about seeing people move. Almost like, there we go. Almost like dancing to the rhythm of your own madness. I like that. I would go to something like that.
Yeah, no.
And I'm taking you with me.
No. 12 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. All those conversations coming up on the upside. Welcome to you.
Você é fluente em português? É apaixonado por rádio e quer trabalhar na África do Sul? Você tem documentos que o qualificam para trabalhar na África do Sul? Nesse caso, podemos ter uma oportunidade para você trabalhar no Canal África. Envie seu currículo e demonstração para Canal África at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Lembre-se, se você não receber alguma resposta nossa em 14 dias, isso significa que você não foi selecionado. Canal África, a perspective africana.
Annika Longi sur Channel Africa.
Comment est-ce que les militants et sympathisants du parti Les Transformateurs ont-ils réagi face à la condamnation de Succès Masra?
La condamnation de Succès Masra ne nous a pas surpris et les militants transformateurs ont été bouleversés et indignés étant donné que le verdict est un verdict lourd, illégal, injuste et donc face à la répression dans laquelle le peuple tchadien est confronté, les militants transformateurs se sont résignés de ne pouvoir pas sortir manifester. Et donc, c'est une situation totalement absurde pour un pays. Et aujourd'hui, nous célébrons le 11 août, fête de l'indépendance. On pensait que le verdict allait être plus ou moins clément, mais le verdict est sévère.
Annika Longi, tous les dimanches sur Mix Vibration.
Broadcasting in 5 different languages, connecting the continent. This is Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Jarabi, Tara, Yorojana, Ale, Mason, Egima. Nderini, Ngapesa, Nejarabi, Ma, Peganyalo, Nigala. Nderini, Ngabedisa, Nekanu, I want to know.
She's like one of my favorite women in the world. Fatoumata Diawara coming through with Nterini. I think this is one of the songs that really launched her into the hearts and minds of many South Africans. And I speak for South Africans because I live here. And isn't Mali just popular? You know, it's a popular region when it comes to music in particular. The desert music from Mali is very popular. And these feminine voices, the Fatoumatas, the Omusangares, the Rokia Traores, also incredibly popular. So beautiful to have her on the playlist on this Wednesday, the 1st day of October. Welcome to the Upside.
Happy International Coffee Day. Today is the 1st of October, a time to celebrate one of the world's favorite drink and Africa's enduring role as the birthplace of coffee. For centuries, African coffee traditions have shaped global tastes and practices. Nespresso has shaped global tastes and practices themselves. Long recognized this legacy, honoring it through unique blends, sustainability projects, and collaborations across the continent. And joining us is Connor Mulligan, Nespresso Coffee Ambassador, to explore Africa's place in coffee heritage and the rituals that continue to inspire. Connor, thank you so much for your time and welcome to the Upside. How significant is Africa and Africa's role in the global story of coffee?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Africa is incredibly important to the coffee for the globe. It is known widely as the birthplace of coffee. And I don't know if you've ever heard the legend of Kaldi, which is pretty much is the legend of how coffee started in the world, and that starts in Ethiopia.
Yep.
And Kaldi was a goat herder who saw his goats were dancing and prancing very excitedly, and he then went to investigate. He saw that they were chewing or eating these cherries from this bush, and then he had some for himself, and he felt invigorated. And then he took it to the monastery and gave it to some monks who were hesitant at first. And what they do, they threw it into fire, and the aroma of coffee, as we know and love, just enveloped the room. And they, from then, essentially what they did is they used coffee in their rituals to extend their sort of prayers, and that's the essentially that is in short the birthplace of coffee, where it all started, and it just took over the globe as we know coffee today. But we can say that Africa is the birthplace of coffee, particularly Arabica.
Okay, that is a fascinating story. I didn't know that story. Thanks for sharing. Connor, I'm very interested in just your role as an Nespresso coffee ambassador. What does your ambassadorship role entail at this time?
So, as a coffee ambassador, I am what it sounds like, an ambassador for coffee. My role is to lead coffee expertise for Nespresso in South Africa. So I am trained and I'm well versed in coffee. So any Nespresso employee I will train and transfer whatever knowledge I have and have gained over my 10 years with Nespresso. And then, of course, acting as the sort of voice or face for Nespresso in South Africa, which brings me here with you lovely guys today.
And free coffee, Connor. Don't forget to keep free coffee.
Yeah. It's one of the perks of the job.
Right.
It's 21 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. We are celebrating and recognizing International Coffee Day with Nespresso today on the 1st of October. And we'll continue our conversation with Connor Mulligan, Nespresso Coffee Ambassador, right after this.
Zilipendwa na Abedi Jean de la Croix.
Kabla ya kwenda mbali zaidi, tuanze kwanza kwenye background yako, maana kila kazi, kila jambo linakuwa na historia yake. Riziki Alema ni nani?
Riziki Alema ni mwimbaji wa nyimbo za Injili, ni mama na ni mke pia.
Umesema wewe ni mama wa familia pia. Vipi unagawa muda wako namna gani kwenye masuala ya muziki na majukumu ya familia?
Okay, cha kwanza sio jambo rahisi, lakini anaweza sema upande mwingine ni rahisi kama utakuwa umejitambua. Kwa sababu mbaya ni ile kuchukua masuala ya masaa ya kazi na masaa ya familia na masaa ya huduma. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri tu mimi huwa natenganisha. Nikiwa ndani sio Riziki Alema, sio mwimbaji. Nikiwa ndani najua mimi ni mke na ni mama pia.
Zilipendwa kila Jumamosi kuanzia saa 12 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati hadi saa 1 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
The Upside, 1 to 4 p.m. Central African Time. With Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko only on Channel Africa, the African Perspective.
22 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. Now, for centuries, African coffee traditions have shaped global tastes and practices. Africa is the birthplace of coffee. And today, the 1st of October, we mark International Coffee Day with Nespresso, and we continue our conversation with Connor Mulligan, Nespresso Coffee Ambassador. Connor, how is Nespresso at the moment working with African farmers and communities to preserve this coffee heritage?
We have many programs. So Nespresso have trained agronomists who are specialists in agriculture, and Nespresso's agronomists are specialized, of course, in coffee cultivation. And there are programs such as the AAA Sustainable Quality Program, which focus on quality, productivity, and sustainability. And when I say sustainability, not only environmental, but also communities. So sustaining coffee sources and protecting them by, giving them the conditions and the environment where they can cultivate coffee and supply the highest possible quality for not only Nespresso, but for everyone. And then one of the AAA Sustainable Quality Program is the one which is largely used at Nespresso. Then you also get Reviving Origins, which focuses on reviving coffee growing communities where they may not have had the opportunity to thrive due to political strain or conflict, as an example.
Yeah.
So Nespresso will, through the Reviving Origins program, go into farming communities and invest in training and providing supplies and equipments, clinics, water supplies, so that the coffee growing communities can thrive and revive, and not only just have a crop of coffee this year, but to enable them to have a high quality yield year on year. So Nespresso don't own any farms. We work with farmers and ensure that they are protected and that the resources are used sustainably year on year. Those are just some examples.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about, I mean, in you sharing the genesis of coffee here on the African continent in Ethiopia, and crediting Africa as the birthplace of coffee. Let's talk about how this legacy has shaped the way coffee is enjoyed in many places in the world today.
Okay. Look, coffee, Africa, many countries source high quality coffee, right? Or high quality coffee is sourced from many countries. In Ethiopia, typically between the two tropics of Capricorn and Tropic of Capricorn and Tropic of Cancer. And the coffee's journey has started in Africa and has taken its journey throughout the Americas and Asia through many influences over the few centuries. But in terms of how we enjoy coffee, one of the ones that I admire the most are it's an Ethiopian coffee ceremony, which is also known as Bunatetu, where they've been doing for centuries and still do to this day. It's a very spiritual experience where they will roast green coffee beans on a sort of a metal pan over a fire, open flame. And once that is roasted, they will grind it in mortar and pestle, and then they will brew it in like a clay pot of sorts. And this is a tradition or a way of preparing and enjoying coffee that is still used today in Ethiopia. And it's a truly spiritual experience. It's as I mentioned in the past, it was brought to life by the monasteries or the monks of Ethiopia. But if you were to say visit these farms, you can experience something like this. And every country has unique sort of practices and ways of not only, as you accurately put, is genesis of coffee, where it is comes from, where it is cultivated. Every country has unique ways of doing this, and Africa have, of course, so for example, in Ethiopia, a way that they dry coffee but retain the quality is by drying it on raised beds, which is protected from the floor being damaged, and that you get a higher quality coffee before it is roasted in transformation.
Wow, fascinating. Connor, are we seeing other African countries be under the Nespresso radar? We are familiar with Nespresso, with Ethiopia rather, and the coffee being grown there. Are there other countries that Nespresso is particularly showing an interest in Africa?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Many. So on a more permanent, like as you said, at scale, Ethiopia is one of the major players.
Yeah.
Of course, Kenya. But where I mentioned the Reviving Origins program in Africa, these programs are focused in countries like DRC or Congo, where in particularly around the Lake Kivu region, where I think 2 years ago, Nespresso invested many millions of dollars to invest and bring that coffee back to life. But also closer to home, we see Zimbabwe is part of this program. So coffee grow Honda Valley, for example, a very lush valley where Nespresso have sourced through the Reviving Origins program seasonally coffee through, smallholder farms, and of course Uganda, and then there's a lot happening in Madagascar. So we'll see a lot happening in the future there.
Okay. All right. Finally, as we wrap up, let's talk about, we're obviously observing and celebrating International Coffee Day. Is there a message that you'd like to share about the importance of recognizing the origins and the culture behind every cuppa?
Absolutely. I mean, especially today, it's International Coffee Day. We want to celebrate not only the cup that you enjoy today, but we need to. What I'd like South Africans and viewers, or to maybe to pay tribute to, is the work that goes into the coffee. All the hands that every bean passes through from the soil all the way to the cup. Has a story that needs to be told. So the way the coffee farms cultivate the coffee, all the way to where the master roasters in, say, with Nespresso in Switzerland, they will roast the coffee with care so that they have the perfect end cup quality, and of course then all the way to the end cup user. So how we enjoy the coffee, the rituals that we personally use to have your perfect cup of coffee. For like right now, today, I'm craving an iced coffee. I would love that right now.
Oh, yeah.
And you can, yeah, right. It's a growing trend, as we know, and very, very big movement for Nespresso. But just taking a moment to savor not only the taste, but soak in the story and all the work and effort that goes into every single cup, and recognizing the origins is very, very important.
Connor, this has been so educational. Thank you so much for your time. We understand now why you are an ambassador for coffee. Your passion exudes, and we appreciate that. Thank you so much for your time, and happy International Coffee Day.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope you guys have a great one. Have a coffee on me. Next time you go to an espresso boutique, you just say, Connor, they'll help you out and make you a good cup of coffee.
Listen, we're going to do that. I know there are coffee lovers in the studio. We're going to do that. Connor Mulligan, Nespresso Coffee Ambassador, as we celebrate International Coffee Day with Nespresso on the 1st of October. It's 31 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. Let's get the latest in sports. Musibudi Makura is standing by.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you so much, Tebogo. Very good afternoon from the sports desk. So Egypt's hopes of reaching the knockout stages of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Chile were dealt a major blow after falling 2-1 to New Zealand in Santiago on Tuesday night, leaving them rooted now without a point in Group A after 2 matches played. Now the young Pharaohs, one of Africa's 4 representatives at this year's tournament, made the perfect start when captain Ahmed Kabaka drilled home in the 5th minute to raise the Egyptian hopes of their first win in this year's tournament. But New Zealand turned the match around within 3 minutes, with Luke Brooks-Smith levelling matters in the 13th minute before Juan Luke then struck what proved to be the winner in the 16th minute. So despite dominating much of the second half and piling on the pressure on the junior All-Whites, Egypt could not find a breakthrough. That result now leaves Egypt bottom of the group after their opening defeat to Japan, with their final group fixture against the host side Chile now a must-win if they are to stand any chance of progressing to the next rounds of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. Onto this story now. Sports brand Reebok denied that it has asked for its logo to be removed from jerseys belonging to teams of the Israel Football Association, countering claims made by Israeli media reports. Now, Reebok in a statement said it was proud of the brand as a unifier of all cultures off the pitch. The Israel Football Association confirmed to Reuters Sport that the team kits in international matches will continue to display the company's logo as before. It was in December of 2023 that German sportswear company Puma ended its sponsorship with Israel's national football team, a decision the firm said had been made back in 2022. On to athletics news now. South African sprinter Shaun Maswanganyi says he's learned to deal with the negative feedback after fans blamed him for the country's 4x100-meter relay failure in Tokyo, Japan in the recently concluded World Athletics Championships. So in an exclusive interview with SABC Sport, he spoke for the very first time about being impeded by Italy's Marcel Jacobs while running the first leg. The clash forced him to abandon the race, with the baton never reaching teammate Sinosipo Dambile. Now, Maswanganyi says he'll just have to take it on the chin, despite feeling he was not at fault.
Only thing I can do is just shake it off and, just try to be the best person I can be, because at the end of the day, whenever something doesn't go right, someone has to be blamed. Even if the person might not be at fault, the blame has to be put on somebody. And, it is what it is. If I'm going to be the country's scapegoat, it is what it is. I see people saying, oh, it's always me. And then, they can't even name any other time, really, I messed up the relay. But, at the end of the day, when you're doing something right, not everyone's going to... Not everyone's going to be a fan of you. They love you one day, they hate you the other.
On to tennis news now. Yannick Sinner was back to his best in a 6-2, 6-2 victory over American teenager Lerner Teen in Wednesday's China Open final, as the world number 2 picked up his third title of the year and 21st tour level trophy overall. Now, Carlos Alcaraz Japan Open title win on Tuesday, and Sinner's triumph marked the first time since 2020 that the world number 1 and the world number 2 both claimed trophies in the same week, after Novak Djokovic in Dubai and Rafael Nadal in Mexico managed that feat a few years back.
Very, very special place for me, but I was my team. Thanks for understanding and working. Not all the team is here, so hopefully the rest is watching from home, and all the people who I have around, very honest people. So thanks for working with me. We will try to improve and push.
All right, and finally, still on tennis news, one of France's most popular tennis figures, Gaël Monfils, announced earlier today that he will retire at the end of next season after spending more than 20 years on tour. Now, the former world number 6 issued a personal statement on his social media account in which he paid a touching tribute to his family and those who have supported him throughout his career. Monfils is married to fellow player Elina Siftolina, and together they have a daughter. Now, during his career, Monfils won 13 tour titles, with his most recent triumph earlier this year in Auckland, where he became the oldest ATP tour level champion since Ken Roswell back in 1977. In Grand Slam tournaments, he reached the semi-finals of the 2008 French Open as well as the 2016 US Open. He also reached the quarterfinals of a major event on 8 other occasions. He also in the process won more than $24.4 million in prize money. And that's a wrap from the sports desk on the first hour of The Upside. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za, or remember to call us as well on +27 11714 4459 with all your story ideas. For Channel Africa Sport, I am Musibudi Makura.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Africa, voici Abedi.
Oui, c'est moi.
Abedi est un passionné de musique dans l'âme. Il a un goût pour toutes sortes de musique et passe ses journées à écouter Channel Africa.
J'aime beaucoup la musique africaine.
Ok. Devinez quoi? Channel Africa veut aider Abedi et les mélomanes du monde entier à découvrir encore plus de musique incroyable. C'est pourquoi Channel Africa appelle les artistes africains à soumettre leur musique. Chers artistes, n'oubliez pas de nous fournir toutes vos informations pertinentes à l'email adresse musique@channelafrica.co.za. Les soumissions sont votre chance d'être entendues, mais elles ne garantissent pas une playlist. Toutes les soumissions seront soigneusement examinées pour voir si elles répondent aux exigences de notre station. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
Get Channel Africa on DSTV Audio Bouquet.
Channel 802.
Well, it's time now for business news with Ntsako Mhlanga.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo. Good afternoon. Starting in West Africa, Ghana's ban on its pension funds from offshore investments is curtailing their ability to hedge risks as authorities seek to jumpstart the domestic bond market in the wake of its sovereign debt restructuring. The Ghanaian government has blocked funds from putting workers' cash into offshore investments last year after concluding a restructuring of its local and foreign debts, which decimated its local debt market. The ban was designed to reduce pressure on the cedi currency. Acting Premier of the Eastern Cape Province in South Africa, Mlungisi Mvogo, has called on automotive companies to expand their markets into African countries amidst concerns of rising global trade tariffs. Mvogo was speaking during the first day of the much-anticipated SA Auto Week in Gqeberha. The three-day gathering will see an influx of automotive giants discussing ways to make the environment more competitive. The Auto Week comes at the backdrop of the closure of Goodyear Tire Manufacturing Company, with some automotive companies laying off workers. Mvogo says it is imperative that businesses find long-term solutions to attract investors.
I don't think the automotive industry is aggressive in going into Africa. I mean, we've got Ford manufacturing the Ranger and Amarok and Rosaline. And we've got all the trucks here that we manufactured in the country. And those are things that are needed in Africa. We are not aggressive in Africa. So this is part of the talks that we are having with them to say we must be aggressive. But we're also talking to ECDC. ECDC is an entity that is entrusted with the trade and investment of our provinces to say, now you must go at the
Slight fuel price hikes in South Africa have come into effect. A litre of 93-octane petrol has increased by 1 cent, while 95-octane is up by 8 cents per litre. However, diesel has decreased by between 8 and 10 South African cents a litre, while eliminating paraffin dropped by 15 cents a litre at retail level. Spokesperson for the Department of Minerals and Petroleum Resources, Robert Marquez, says the adjustments can be attributed to various factors during the period under review.
The reasons are slight increase in the prices of Brent crude oil during the period under review. The international prices of all petroleum products decreased on average during the period under review. The rand appreciated on average against the US dollar and cushioned the fuel prices by 14 to 15 cents per litre.
The International Monetary Fund says it has reached a staff-level agreement with Côte d'Ivoire under the Extended Fund Facility and the Extended Credit Facility arrangements. It says this will lead to disbursements totaling about $843.9 million to the country. Côte d'Ivoire joined the IMF in 1963. The European Commission will propose cutting steel imports quotas by nearly half and hiking duties on volumes above those levels to 50% in line with tariffs imposed by the US and Canada. The measures will be part of a new package for the steel sector set to be officially unveiled on the 7th of October. The Commission's Executive Vice President for Industrial Strategy, Stephanie Sejourne, briefed steel associations on Wednesday ahead of next week's announcement. The bloc's current steel safeguards will expire on the 30th of June next year. The EU and Western allies are trying to contain the overcapacities created by subsidized Chinese factories in steel and other sectors. Now let's have a look at financial indicators this afternoon. $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 482, Botswana 13 pula 20, Kenya the dollar is 128 shilling 401, Zambia 23 kwacha 80. BRICS countries, $1 in Brazil is at 5 real 32, in Russia 82 rubles 68, India 88 rupees 79, China 71 12, South Africa 17 rand 26 cents. $1 is 74 pence to the British pound and 85 to the euro. Commodities, gold is at $3,885, platinum at $1,579 per ounce, the price of Brent crude oil at $65.98 a barrel. That is all for now. For any business stories you'd like to share with us, please send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za, or you can call us on +27 11714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I am Ntsako Mhlanga.
Business News on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Darubini ya Afrika na I am Henry Shakif.
Vita kule imezungumzwa pia DRC, lakini Somalia, Sudani Kusini, kumekuwa kuna vita za hapa na pale. Katika mkutano huu, unadhani hili lingekuwa ni kipaumbele?
Ni kipaumbele kikubwa kama unavyomuona waziri wa sheria wa zamani Ivoni kutoka Namibia alipozungumza, ni kwamba kwanza inasikitisha watu tunapojikuta kwamba mataifa nje ndio yanashiriki kutupatanisha. Hii inaonyesha hatuaminiani, na pia tumekubali kutumiwa kwa sababu hawa wanatupatanisha wana ajenda zao, wana kitu wananufaika.
Na kama vile wewe ambavyo umezungumza, umekuja hapa kama mwakilishi, na leo ndo mkutano huu na siku 3 na leo ndo siku ya kwanza, pengine tutegemee nini kupitia mkutano huu?
Kitu kikubwa ambacho nataka kujifunza hapa ni namna nyumbani na kuweka ukaribu, ile bondi kati yetu sisi na wale wanaotuwakilisha. Kusiwe na ukuta, kusiwe na kutoaminiana, na pia wale wanapopewa madaraka wasijisi wamekuwa wakubwa zaidi, kwa sababu wale ni watumishi.
Darubini ya Afrika kila Jumatatu hadi Ijumaa kuanzia saa 11 kamili hadi saa 12 kamili jioni majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
Get the news, music, and lifestyle of Africa on Channel Africa, the African Perspective.
Dumala upenduka ingqondo yami cinga ngawe wamuhle mntana muntu bona baningi abandifunayo ngowakho wamuhle mntana muntu bona baningi abandifunayo ngowakho. Dumala upenduka ingqondo yami cinga ngawe wamuhle mntana muntu bona baningi abandifunayo ngowakho wamuhle mntana muntu bona baningi abandifunayo ngowakho. Imhlophe ehlala nezimnyama egcwabisa ngesibhalozi, balona indiza phezulu ethwala abantu abakhubazekileyo. Mama ntombi imhlophe ehlala nezimnyama egcwabisa ngesibhalozi, balona indiza phezulu ethwala abantu abakhubazekileyo. Mama ngicela umuntu samyela ngiqabule ithi mama ngibabulala isinhliziyo.
12 minutes before 2 p.m. Central African Time. Wamuhle, Mlindo the vocalist, and Shui on that one. There was a line. There were lines I was hearing there saying I can't sleep because I'm thinking about you, or miss you, along those lines. I'm like, is it ever that deep that you be thinking about someone?
Let me tell you
And
something.
then you can't sleep.
Let me tell you something. That is the one thing that I think is unspoken about like being in a romantic relationship is you spend way too much time thinking about another person. Like, I promise you, you're not even trying, and they are just tethered. You could be doing the most mundane thing. You could be frying an egg and thinking about them. Are they okay? And the more the love deepens, the more your empathy for them grows. You know, like when it's still new, maybe you'll think about them once every other day or once a day. And then you get closer. And then if you think about something painful that they shared with you 6 months ago. And you think, are they okay? Like you literally, your levels of empathy for this person just grows and grows and grows exponentially. And that is the thing about being in a romantic relationship is you spend way too much time thinking about another person. It's ridiculous. And their well-being. Did they have you eaten? Are they okay? Are they happy at work? Are they fulfilled? You know, do they have enough?
You think about that.
Oh, you don't think about your person. No one's thinking about her.
Yeah, there's no person. I don't have a person. I'm just saying.
Too much time.
I just found it interesting. Personally, I love my sleep, so.
I don't know if you would know when you are in a relation.
Yeah, but I need to sleep.
You think about them in your sleep.
It's 10 minutes before 2 p.m. Central African Time on the other side of this vento clock.
We are on Open Views Audio Bouquet.
Channel 628.
No matter where you are, Channel Africa is always with you.
zochitika ndi madaphiri kamlondola wa zochitika pena paliponse.
vuto lakusowa kwa simenti likupitirira ku Malawi ngakhale kuti boma linapanga mgwirizano ndi makampani ena aku Zambia kuti azibweretsa mdziko lo simenti. Nduna ya zamalonda Vitumbuko Mumba yadzudzula makampani ena kuti akubisa simenti ngakhale kuti boma likumawapatsa ndalama yakunja kuti akagule kunja ndi kubweretsa simenti ku Malawi. Ndipo George Muhango tili naye pa line apa kuti atifotokozere zambiri. George, uli bwanji komanso vuto la simenti linamba liti?
Inetu ndili bwino, ndipo vuto la simenti ku Malawi kuno linayamba miyezi itatu yapitayi. Sakupezeka mu mashop amene amagulisiramo komanso kuti makampani amene akupanga simenti amene akupanga ochepa kwambiri, monga modza kunena kuti ndalama yakunja kuti ayitanise katundu amene amathandizira kuti apange simenti amene ikusoweka.
zochitika ndi madaphiri lolemba mpaka lachisanu pa nthawi ya 7 koloko kufikira 8 koloko madzulo pa Channel Africa.
We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the upside.
It's 8 minutes before 2 p.m. Central African Time. It's time for Vent or Clock. Get it off your chest and live a lighter life. It's as simple as that. Something I want to vent about. So I get quite a few comments on social media about the posts that I make on the content that I create, revolving around a lot of safari getaways and bush escapes and so on and so forth. And one of the comments that I've received, and I found it very, very strange, very, very strange indeed. I was asked, and not just once, quite a few times, what is, for example, I'll post about an accommodation, a crib, a safari, bush, cabin, or whatever the case may be. And they would ask, what is the noise limit in that area?
The fact that they have to ask.
The fact that they asked in the first place. You're going to a wilderness a reserve, a nature park, why are you even considering making noise in the first place? There are plenty of places to make noise. There are plenty. Go to the club, go to the sports bar, go to the cities, get an Airbnb there. You can make as much noise as you want. Not on a safari or a bush escape. It does not make sense to me. You will not get the true essence and enjoy the space and the place and the animals. The animals will run away from you, in fact. And then you're going to complain and say, we went to this bush retreat, we didn't even see a single animal. I wonder why. You were playing music loudly. The animals ran away. You scared them off. You're supposed to take in nature. Allow the animals to roam around freely. If a kudu comes by your chalet and starts drinking water from your little splash pool, that's pretty cool. If the nyalas are roaming around eating the grass in your chalet area, your garden, that's quite a spectacle to behold. You're not going to see that if you're making too much noise. And I've seen this also on game drives. I have no issue with people wanting to have a good time. You want to have a good time? Fantastic. Hey, enjoy yourself. But not to the detriment of other people. Don't ruin other people's experience also. Because on a game drive, there's no need for you to be screaming and being on your phone loudly. And if you're going to have a bev or two, enjoy your bev, absolutely. But don't become rowdy, because now you're ruining the experience for everyone else and yourself as well. You're not truly getting the essence of being in the wild, in nature, on a bush escape or in a bush escape, and you're compromising the experience for everyone else. So please be considerate when you go on safari and bush escapes. Respect nature, respect the other people around, so that you too can have the best out of the experience and get the best out of it, not by making too much noise and then over consuming alcohol to the point where you now slurring your words. You don't even care who's sitting next to you. You don't care that there's an elephant right next to you and you're screaming and loud noise is scaring it off. Just be respectful when you have a good time. I'm not denying anyone from having a good time, but consider other people as well and consider the space that you're in. There are plenty of places where you can go and be rowdy and make noise. The bush and the safari, that's not one of them.
Okay, I have a question. Because clearly grown-ups have zero courtesy and self-awareness. Yeah. Are there no rules? Like if we go to a specific resort for to enjoy a bush escape, are there no rules, like no drinking, no noise?
Yeah, the
no
drinking one will never be a thing, but there are rules. Noise rules are there to say be courteous of your neighbors, and they'll probably say at 10 o'clock all noise outside must cease, so that whatever the estate's rules are. So there are rules. Even on a game drive, they'll tell you, please don't make too much noise. But there are people who will still, with those rules being explained to them, they will still want to do their own thing. So it's not that the rules don't exist. They don't want to
follow them and respect them.
And that's the problem. Right there.
Stop it.
Stop it, please.
Stop
it, please.
I mean, really.
There are many places where you can make noise. Not on a safari.
There's better behavior in primary school.
100%.
Honestly.
No. So that's my little vent. And then someone made a joke about...
It's a vent and an appeal.
A vent and appeal. The PSA, isn't it? Someone made a joke about safaris and how, in actual fact, what a safari is and a game drive is you stalking animals. If the animals could call the police...
We actually are.
There's a family of human beings who are just taking a picture of me and my family and we're naked. That's what safaris are. Anyway... That's my little vent. What do you want to vent
that's
about?
True, hey? Now you're making me rethink. We're invading their privacy. I'm just sitting here asking myself what the heck is happening in Southern Africa. I know this is not news in a sense of we've seen these types of stories before, but it is just concerning that also as society we've just become so jaded and so powerless, and we just have no idea what to do. We literally just see the stuff in the news and we laugh it off. I want to take the story as written by Martin Dlamini for the Swaziland Times, Zweli Martin Dlamini, and he was writing about what's happening with King Mswati and his extravagant spending, that we all know about. That's not news. But in confirmation of all of this, he is appealing, the king that is appealing for a 43 billion international donation to fight climate change while stealing taxpayers' money, as written by Zweli Martin Dlamini for Swaziland News. And he goes on to say, it is very disturbing to note that in this country, we have a king who loots public funds while turning our country into a charity case. So that's one problem, is looting at leadership level, and just looting over the corruption that's happening in Southern Africa is just insane. The case that's being investigated in South Africa by the SIU as well is quite concerning, regarding Tembisa Hospital and the billions of rands that have disappeared there. There's a special investigation by the SIU that has been granted to also freeze the assets of one of the tender tycoons. He's been named actually in the media, Hangwanu Maumela. He has been flagged as one of the people that are part of the syndicate at the Tembisa Hospital. What is happening? Like, have we lost all sense of shame? No nembeza, no care in the world about what is happening. So with regards to this case, the SIU is delivering an interim report or rather on the capture of the hospital, with dodgy tenders of about 2 million that have been identified. What is going on? Billion. And there's King Mswati asking for 43 billion to fight climate change, while he goes out and spends money with his beautiful wives, shopping in South Africa, enjoying luxury and all sorts of things, and all sorts of trips abroad. And the people are going hungry. What needs to happen? I'm really not going to sit here and be arrogant to think I've got all the solutions, but it really is concerning that we just laugh it off. We see it in the news and we're like, oh, well, it is what it is.
Yep. It's 2 p.m. Central African time. We'll unpack it a bit later, this one. Onel Ntsinzi is standing by with the latest news.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo. Looking at your top stories, Madagascar's capital calm today following protests, and Indonesia rescue search continues at a collapsed Islamic boarding school. Your latest news. Greetings to our listeners. The streets of Madagascar's capital are reported to be calm today after days of protests that have routinely devolved into violent clashes with police. Inspired by the so-called youth-led Gen Z protests in Kenya and Nepal, the 4 days of demonstrations have been the largest the Indian Ocean island has seen in years, and the most serious challenge Rajoelina has faced since his re-election in 2023. President Andry Rajoelina first came to power in a 2009 coup. He stepped down in 2014 but became president again after winning the 2018 election and secured a third term in a December 2023 poll that his challengers said was marred by irregularities. South Africa's vibrant Economic Freedom Fighters Party leader Julius Malema says he is going to appeal the guilty verdict against him, which was handed down by the East London Magistrate Court in the Eastern Cape province. Malema was found guilty for unlawful possession of a firearm, ammunition and discharging a firearm in public during the EFF's 5th anniversary celebrations in Sisa Dukashe Stadium in Mdantsane. His former bodyguard and co-accused Adrian Snyman was found not guilty by the same court. Malema says he finds it strange that Snyman was cleared of all charges, yet he is the one who is alleged to have handed the firearm to him.
They said accused number 2 gave me the firearm. Now they are releasing him, which means he didn't give me the firearm. Why are you not releasing me? When you release a person you allege gave me the firearm. By releasing accused number 2, the whole case should have collapsed. But the racist was looking for me, and that's why they could not collapse the case for racist reason, to appease the AfriForum, to appease the Oval Office of Donald Trump.
The Forum for South Africa, a social justice and human rights activist organization, has extended its condolences to the wife and family of the former minister and the country's ambassador to France, Nathi Mthethwa. Mthethwa reportedly died on Monday after falling from the 22nd floor at the Hyatt Hotel in Western Paris. FOSA's national leader, Tebogo Lekhuleni, however, says Mthethwa's time in office leaves no legacy to celebrate. Lekhuleni says the former minister left both the ministries of arts, culture and sports and of police in disarray under his leadership.
In the Ministry of Police especially, his tenure was marked by interference in operations as highlighted by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. This undermined the fight against crime, weakened morale within the service, and left the institution in decay. South Africa continues to bear the consequences of his failed leadership. FOSA believes that leaders must be held accountable for their record in office, even at the time of their passing. However, we also recognize the human side of loss.
President Dumabogo marked Botswana's 59th anniversary of independence yesterday with a call for unity, even as the economy is urging closer to crisis levels. Under normal conditions, citizens of the Southern African country will throng stadiums to hear about how the nation gained independence from the British on September 30th, 1966. But this year, it was a different ball game altogether. Most people resorted to playing social soccer as part of celebrating the country's independence. Delivering his maiden independence message, Boko pleaded with the citizens to remain united.
We are a force to reckon when we are united and working together. It is our togetherness that is the umbrella for democratic change. We made history by dethroning former ruling Botswana Democratic Party from power. It is only when we work in unison that we can overcome all the challenges that our country is facing and enduring, whether small or big. The African continent can only heal from the current crisis and develop socially and economically by working together.
Lastly, rescuers are continuing to try to reach at least 30 students trapped inside a collapsed Islamic boarding school in Indonesia. The building came down on Monday as students gathered for afternoon prayers. It's reported that the two-story building collapsed after its foundation pillars failed to support the weight of the construction of two more floors. The BBC's Astudestra Ajengrastri.
The evacuation process is still happening in the boarding room for boys a couple of kilometers away from here. The search team mentioned that they have been able to communicate with at least 7 students in the rubble. They are given food, drinks, and also oxygen, and they are optimistic that they will be able to find a way to save those children.
Recapping on your top stories, the streets of Madagascar's capital are reported to be calm today after days of protests that have routinely devolved into violent clashes with the police. Channel Africa News, I'm Onele Tsintzim.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
8 minutes into the middle hour of the Upside. Thank you for joining us. It's the 1st of October. Welcome to the Upside. And if you're new here, welcome to the show. Mmatsheko and Tebogo Lekhuleni in your company until 4 p.m. in Central African time. So in this hour, we are going to the Karoo.
Yes.
Yes, we are. We are going.
Yes, we're going to the Karoo.
A very quiet town known as Graaff-Reinet.
Absolutely, because the Karoo fossils are going to be displayed at the Karoo Origins Fossil Center at Drosdi Hotel. And we'll be getting into conversation with the marketing manager at the Drosdi Hotel, Luzan Oosthuizen, to tell us a bit more about the finds at the center, what we can look forward to, and the significance of the center itself. If I'm not mistaken, they house the most unique species, the most unique species in the whole world. So the whole world, in other spaces, they have fossils and they have dinosaur reconstructions and so on and so forth. The most unique species have been found in that Karoo area, and this center is showcasing some of that. So I can't wait to get into a conversation about that, because the idea of dinosaurs and what's is fascinating.
It is.
I think, because familiar that I go on game drives on a regular basis, safari. I can't imagine going on a game drive back in prehistoric times when there were massive animals roaming around. Sometimes, honestly, you wouldn't even have to go on a game drive. Just sit at your home and like, oh, there, it's walking, it's moving. Like,
exactly.
That's how massive they were. But I still can't wrap my head around the magnitude of these animals. I still can't.
I mean, obviously, civilization
really
was not where it is right now.
Not at all.
So, but that's an interesting thought. I love your imagination, and I guess if you love being imaginative, but also love history, this could definitely be up your alley as we check in with the Karoo Origins, the Fossil Center. It sounds very exciting, and I think for people like myself that are yet to visit Graaff-Reinet, this part of exploring, it would probably entice me to go.
Okay, well, we'll have that conversation right after this. It's 10 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time.
Got something to say? Are you passionate about issues that matter?
Do you have a voice that deserves to be heard?
Well, we've got the perfect platform for you. Call in or drop us a WhatsApp on +27 63 406 9126.
And we will call you back.
So you could have your say and be part of the conversation.
30 years of age. I just turned 30 on the 15th of November. So that's who I am,
It's not just talk. It's your chance to air your views.
Share your opinion.
Engage with a community that values your perspective.
Follow us on our social media.
Visit our website at www.channelafrica.co.za
and get ready to share your views
on Channel Africa,
the African perspective.
Ukatili wa kijinsia unaharibu maisha na kutenga jamii. Hutokea nyumbani, shuleni, kazini na mara nyingi kwa ukimya. Lakini hauwezi kuendelea. Ukiona, ongea. Ikiwa unaumia, funguka, kwa sababu kutofanya lolote sio chaguo. Sikiliza vituo vyote 19 vya redio kuanzia Jumatano ya tarehe 23 Julai kwenye mijadala, ushauri, tamthilia, maonyesho ya elimu na mahojiano na wataalamu, manusura, watunga sheria na nchi nzima iliyoathirika na ukatili wa kijinsia kwenye vituo vyako pendwa vya redio. Piga simu 0800 428 428 ili kuripoti unyanyasaji au kupata msaada. GBV, ikomeshwe na wewe. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwenu na shirika la SABC.
Your afternoons just got even better.
Fresh and exciting.
The Upside, hooking you up with today's news from an African perspective.
Uthando Lwami. Black coffee, msaki. Great combination. Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful song. 16 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. Welcome to The Upside, your gateway to the good life on Channel Africa, the African perspective with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko Mosito. We're still coming to you live from the Auckland Park studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. Join us live on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. Happy Wednesday and happy 1st of October. Let's go back a couple thousands, millions of years. I don't know. When were these fossils? I don't know. Let's talk about
long time ago.
A very long time ago. Let's talk about some fossils in the Karoo.
Absolutely, because in the historic town of Graaff-Reinet, the newly opened Karoo Origins, the Fossil Center brings prehistoric life to the present through immersive exhibitions and reconstructions. And it looks like they've stepped in through the Drotsty Hotel. And this unique experience celebrates the Karoo's rich fossil heritage and the legacy of the Rubridge family as we see it. So without any further ado, let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation around this new center and what it presents for its guests. On the line with us, we have Luzanne Oorthuizen, I beg your pardon, who is marketing manager of Drotsty Hotel. Welcome to the show, Luzanne. A pleasure to have you join us.
Hello, it's always nice being with you guys. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Karoo, eh?
Yes.
Karoo with fossil origins.
Absolutely. Welcome back. I had such a wonderful conversation with you the last time, and we're talking about a race that was happening there, and you actually really sold the small town of Graaff-Reinet so beautifully that I was like, I have to visit. I can't believe I haven't been there. But what makes the Karoo one of the richest fossil sites in the world as you and I speak?
So if we think, like you mentioned, long time ago, very, very long time ago, next door to the Drotsty Hotel opened a new fossil museum. I think 300 million years ago. Can you imagine how life would have been that time? I can't imagine it. But what is this Origins fossil museum did? They have a beautiful showcase, a museum next to us, showcasing how it could have looked. They've got over 850 fossils by the museum that each person can go have a look. And, it's family friendly. So it's amazing to see how they thought it would be, because they've got all these animations to show, okay, this is how they looked. Because you take the fossil and you work from there. I don't know, they do their magic. I won't go into that, but then they actually showcase it now with the beautiful fossil origins. And I think it goes so hand in hand with Karoo in Graaff-Reinet, because Graaff-Reinet is so full of history, and I think lots of people like yourselves need to come visit still.
Oh, I love this. We're talking all things Karoo Origins Fossil Center at the Drosti Hotel. And on the line, we are joined by Luzon Oosthuizen, Marketing Manager at the Drosti Hotel, to tell us a bit more about the significance of this center. And if you are a fossil lover, fossil intriguist, I just made that up, and then stay tuned so we can find out more from Luzon. It's 20 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine. Weekdays, 6 till 9.
Malawians go to the polls next week in a high-stakes general election where citizens will choose a new president and 229 members of parliament. And this comes 5 years after the country's 2019 election was annulled by the Constitutional Court due to widespread irregularities in a landmark decision that overturned the victory of the then President Peter Mutharika.
I'm not saying we're a perfect government. No, nobody is. I mean, we've seen even South Africa facing challenges with the fuel that's going up and with whatever challenges. But you know what? When you are dealing with an IMF policy that says do not employ so many people because you're going to become a welfare government and all of that. And Dr. Chakwera said I've got high numbers of unemployment. As a government that is answerable to Malawians, we have found IMF policies wanting on many issues. We believe the people who pay us taxes to put us in our positions, we owe them employment at the minimum.
That's Dr. Jesse Kwabila, who's the Minister of Higher Education in Malawi.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine. They talk about what Africans say about Africa.
21 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time, history comes alive with the opening of Karoo Origins, the Fossil Center. Just a short walk away from the Drosti Hotel, visitors can come face to face with giants of prehistoric times through interactive exhibits and reconstructions. And to tell us a bit more about it, we are joined by Luzon Oosthuizen, Marketing Manager at the Drosti Hotel. Luzon, let's talk about the significance of the fossils. I would love to hear the origins of where they were found or who collected. I understand the Rubich family has a massive role to play. Walk us through how they went about collecting these amazing fossils that you've now created a whole center for.
Yes, so I think when Bruce and the family talks about it, I think, we need to make our time a bit longer because it's so amazing to hear the story from themselves. And the nice thing is, if you do go to Graaff-Reinet, you can actually have the opportunity to speak to the professor there and see that love and passion that he's got, and not just for the fossils, but for actually the industry and for our area. So one thing I do know is they found new species in our area. It was founded by the family many years ago, and they just kept on finding fossils. And the amazing thing is that you find one fossil, but they found so many in area, and it's specifically in Graaff-Reinet and New Bethesda. So it's literally a drive away. I know that you can do all the graduates or pre-graduates if you're busy studying it, and after you want to study, there is an education center there. So they're very involved, not just with the museum, but it's education center. It's training our and developing our youth to be in that industry, and you can actually go look for fossils. You can do the whole tour. You can go to the farm. And I think it's not just for people that's in the industry, it's for fossil lovers. So, and I think that's where our internationals come in. We love our locals, but our internationals also play a big role in our area. And they can actually do some research as well. And it makes cherry on the top because we're just next door and we can assist with accommodation for those guests.
That's wonderful. And I think also you'll never know that you are into fossils until you actually go to the center and find out for yourself. So with that said, Luzanne, how is the Drosti Hotel positioning itself as part of this fossil and heritage revolution in the Karoo?
So what we've done since they started opening, we've looked into ways how we can collaborate, how we can attract our area for our SA residents, our locals, our family, our schools, but then also the internationals. So we looked into, because we already, as a position in the Karoo, the fourth oldest town in South Africa, we already have over 200 heritage sites. So we looked into a package where we can offer accommodation, a lovely entrance to the museum, and then on top of it, add-ons. So we've got the Valley of Desolation. If you don't know the name, go Google it. It's a beautiful site. And I think, yes, and you can have like a whole holiday there. It's not just, you can go for work, all of that, but I think it's very important that you want to go see, okay, who's the fourth oldest? Why is it the fourth oldest town? You know, we all started in the Western Cape, but hey, we're in the Eastern Cape. And so it's remarkable how they package it all together. And it's, for those that don't know, the fossils, it used to be kept by the university, more in your area, and that's how they moved it down to our local community, because that's where they found it. So I'm very happy it's there. I'm very happy that people can actually view it, being myself as well.
Oh, love that. I want to learn more about the Drosti Hotel, Luzanne. What else do you offer besides accommodation? Can people get married at your hotel? Because I'm looking at the pictures here. My goodness, such a spectacular place.
Yes, it's my baby then. I always say it's my heart. And you know what, it means a lot to me. I love representing the hotel. Started with them last year, and I actually got married there as well. So you know, if you sell a product, you've actually experienced the product, and you still selling it, then you know you're good to go. So I get excited if people want to get married there. We've got lots of people in the Eastern Cape. We've had people from Gauteng, we've had Western Capers, and we've got international people getting married there. And the nice thing about our property is if you get married there, you can possibly get the venue for free if you book out the rooms. Yes. So extra money to spend on your honeymoon, why not?
Love that.
So we've got, yes,
for the couples.
on top of it.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, Luzanne. Okay, for those perhaps that are because I'm having a thought now around the possibility of children engaging with this work, you know, and visiting the hotel and also visiting the fossil center. Anything you'd like to share about perhaps special packages? If you know, there's a bus full of children that would love to come and experience this, because children's minds are ready and ripe for learning, especially at this level.
Yes, no, exactly. So definitely, so what we work in is I tailor make the packages. So anyone that wants to come stay with us, if it's a corporate, if it's someone just going for a wedding, children camp, all of that, we team up. We actually communicate with the Fossil Museum, with the Valley of Distillation. We pack the picnic bags to go up and have a beautiful picnic by the sand parks. So we really like to make it special. We do have lovely packages on our website, drosti.co.za, where you can book directly. But you're more than welcome to contact us directly and just find out a bit more. We always need to make it as special as we can. And just adding on top of that, we are very prone to family. We love getting families there. We also pet friendly, so it's not just your fur babies, but it's your kids as well that we can host. There are 3 swimming pools, a spa facility, a sauna, a restaurant, a gallery, a wine shop. So we've got the works, and it's 48 rooms. So it's big enough for all those groups that you're talking about.
A fantastic place to rest after you've gone out and done some fossil finding and fossil hunting and reconstruction of dinosaurs, and it's such a fantastic initiative, and I can't wait to see the impact that it will bring to that tiny town of Graaff-Reinet. Luzon, thank you so much for your time this afternoon, and just a reminder again of that website where we can book for the hotel.
Sure, it's www.droste.co.za.
Amazing work, Luzon. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. The voice of Luzon, Ua Stays and Marketing Manager at the Droste Hotel. Check them out on online. Book your stay so that you can go and explore the Karoo Origins, the Fossil Center, and relive what it would have looked like millions and millions of years ago with those gigantic prehistoric animals and dinosaurs. Kid-friendly as well, so take the whole family.
Definitely. Learning experience for everybody. Doesn't matter what age you are. Okay? So go and experience it. It is 2:30. Let's check in with sports.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
And a very good afternoon from the sports desk. I am Musibu Dimakura with the latest sports news at the Sawa. So cricket fever peaks as defending champions Australia women's side face off with New Zealand women and the ICC Women's ODI World Cup, shifting focus to the 50-over format where Australia looks to assert their dominance. So Australia, by the way, are chasing redemption after the T20 World Cup semi-final stumble with seasoned match winners like McGrath, Perry. They are looking dangerous at this year's tournament, but the absence of explosive all-rounder Grace Harris could also be testing their power at this year's tournament. Meanwhile, led by the fierce Sophie Devine, the White Ferns of New Zealand are out to shake the Giants, with veterans like Bates as well as Kerr and fresh power from Donovan Sher as well as James. New Zealand is ready now to challenge Australia's throne in Indore. So at the moment, Australia earlier on winning the toss and electing to bat first. They are currently on 269 for the loss of 7 wickets. This after 43 overs in the second match of the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup. Onto this story now. Sports brand Reebok denied that it had asked for its logo to be removed from jerseys belonging to teams of the Israel Football Association, countering claims made by Israeli media reports. Now, Reebok, in a statement on Wednesday, said it was proud of the brand being as a unifier of all cultures on and off the pitch. The Israel Football Association confirmed to Reuters that team kits in international matches will continue to display the company's logo as before. It was in December of 2023 that German sportswear company Puma ended their sponsorship of Israel's national football team, a decision the firm said had been made as early as 2022. On to athletics news now. South African sprinter Shaun Maswanganyi says he's learned to deal with the negative feedback after fans blamed him for the country's 4x100-meter relay failure in Tokyo, Japan at the World Athletics Championships. Now, speaking to SABC Sport, he spoke for the very first time about being impeded by Italy's Marcel Jacobs while running the first leg. The clash forced him to abandon the race, with the bat never reaching teammate Sinosipho Dambile. Maswanganyi says he'll just have to take it on the chin, despite feeling that he was not in fault in the first place.
Only thing I can do is just shake it off and, just try to be the best person I can be, because at the end of the day, whenever something doesn't go right, someone has to be blamed. Even if the person might not be at fault, the blame has to be put on somebody. And, it is what it is. If I'm going to be the country's scapegoat, it is what it is. I see people saying, oh, it's always me. And then, they can't even name any other time really I messed up the relay. But, at the end of the day, when you're doing something right, not everyone's going to... Not everyone's going to be a fan of you. They love you one day, they hate you the other.
And Maswangai also added that he tried to carry on after the collision but realized Dambile was already too far from down the track rather. He also urged fans to remember that television angles don't always capture the full intensity of incidents that happen in a split second.
The first thing in my mind when I got knocked on my face was, let me still try to keep going. You know, there's two different angles which one shot on TV, and in those angles you can literally see me still trying to make an advance and still try to chase down Dambile and try to get the pass off. But by then, you know, he was already out the zone. It was over with. After I took 4 more strides after I got knocked, it was over with. He was already gone.
Well, we'll conclude with tennis news now. Yannick Sinner was back to his best in a 6-2, 6-4 victory over American teenager Lerner Teen in Wednesday's China Open final as the world number 2 picked up his 3rd title of the year and 21st tour-level trophy overall. Now, Carlos Alcaraz's Japan Open title on Tuesday and Sinner's triumph in the early hours of this morning marked the first time since 2020 that the world number 1 and the world number 2 both claimed trophies in the same week after Novak Djokovic in Dubai and Rafael Nadal in Mexico managed that feat back in 2020.
Very, very special place for me, but I was my team. Thanks for understanding and working. Not all the team is here, so hopefully the rest is watching from home, and all the people who I have around, very honest people. So thanks for working with me. We will try to improve and push.
Right, so that concludes your sports news. I'm back with a final sports update on the upside in the third and final hour of the show. It's 14:35 p.m. Central African time. Now, for any sports stories you'd like to share with us, send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11714 4459. For Channel Africa Sport, I am Mosibudi Makura.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
madapiri pazoshitika
boma la dziko la south sudan alengeza kuti wachiwiri kwa mtsogoleri wa dzikolo Riek Machar akuyenera kuyankha mlandu ofuna kulanda dziko wakupha komanso okonza ziwawa ndipo mtolankhani wathu nkummawa kwa africa Fraser Oneni akuwunikirapo.
muchikalata chomwe chinalengezedwa ndi nduna yoona zamalamulo komanso chilungamo ya dziko la south sudan, chikalatachi chinalengeza kuti wachiwiri kwa president wa dzikolo Riek Machar apezeka ndi milandu yokupha, yofuna kuwukira boma komanso kulanda dziko ndi kuyambitsa ziwawa. Riek Machar akhala akusungidwa mokakamizidwa ku nyumba kwawo kuyambira mwezi wa Marichi chaka chino. Mwezi wa Marichiwu asilikali omwe mbuyomu anali mgulu lomwe limagwira ntchito limodzi ndi Machar anamenyana ndi asilikali a boma a South Sudan Defense Forces SPDF mu chigawo cha White Nile dziko
zochitika pa nthawi ya 6 koloko kufikira 7 koloko madzulo lolemba mpaka lachisanu ndi madapiri.
Channel Africa, your voice, your sound, and your home. Stay locked right here.
37 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. Let's find out how the markets are moving with Ntsako Mhlanga.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo. Good afternoon. Ghana's annual consumer inflation rate slowed for the 9th consecutive month in September, falling to 9.4% year-on-year from 11.5% in August, marking its lowest level since August 2021. Government statistician Al-Hassan Idrisu told a press conference that the decline was driven primarily by easing food prices compared to non-food prices. The gold, oil and cocoa producing nation is emerging from its most severe economic crisis in decades. Still in Ghana, the country's ban on its pension funds from offshore investments is curtailing their ability to hedge risks as authorities seek to jumpstart the domestic bond market in the wake of its sovereign debt restructuring. The Ghanaian government has blocked funds from putting workers' cash into offshore investments last year after concluding a restructuring of its local and foreign debts, which decimated its local debt market. The ban was designed to reduce pressure on the cedi currency. In other news, experts have warned that uncertainty over jobs and trade still hangs over South Africa following the expiration of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA. Political economist Professor Patrick Bond says in the absence of any relief on AGOA, South African goods will now face standard tariffs on exports to the U.S. This while certain products such as copper, pharmaceuticals and certain minerals are exempt. Bond says U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs on South African goods have led to a sharp drop in the country's exports to the U.S. during the second quarter of this year.
So we're still at 30%, and I think for the most crucial exports hit hard now are since end of July are in citrus and the vineyard products, the wine and the grapes, and also macadamia nuts. So we're going to see lots of job losses in agriculture.
Acting Premier of the Eastern Cape Province in South Africa, Lungisi Mvoko, has called on automotive companies to expand their markets into African countries amidst concerns of rising global trade tariffs. Mvoko was speaking during the first day of the much-anticipated SA Auto Week in Gqeberha. The three-day gathering will see an influx of automotive giants discussing ways to make the environment more competitive. The Auto Week comes at the backdrop of the closure of Goodyear Tire Manufacturing Company, with some automotive companies laying off workers. Mvoko says it is imperative that businesses find long-term solutions to attract investors.
I don't think the automotive industry is aggressive in going into Africa. I mean, we've got Ford manufacturing the Ranger and Amarok and Rosaline. And we've got all the trucks here that we manufactured in the country. And those are things that are needed in Africa. We are not aggressive in Africa. So this is part of the talks that we are having with them to say we must be aggressive. But we're also talking to ECDC. ECDC is an entity that is entrusted with the trade and investment for provinces to say, now you must go at the
Global sportswear brand Nike has reported a surprise rise in first quarter revenue and beat profit expectations as the storied sportswear brand's turnaround effort gained traction despite weakness in China and tariffs pressuring margins. Shares rose 3.4% in choppy extended trading as the company also managed to clear some of its bloated inventory and wholesale revenues returned to growth in a sign of early success for CEO Elliot Hill's plan to get Nike back to its former glory. Let's have a look at financial indicators at this hour. $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 Naira 482, in Botswana 13 Pula 20. Kenya, the dollar is 128 shilling 401, Zambia 23 kwacha 80. BRICS countries, $1 in Brazil is at 5 real 32, Russia 82 rubles 68, India 88 rupee 79, China 71.12, South Africa 17 rand 26 cents. $1 is 74 pence to the British pound, 85 to the euro. Commodities, gold is at $3,882, platinum at $1,578 per ounce, the price of Brent crude oil at $65.70 a barrel. For any business stories you'd like to share with us, please send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za, or you can call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I am Chanduko Ligege.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective. 9 to 12 midday Central African Time. On the move with Palisa Tau and Benjamin Mushata.
Should influencers be expected to be impactful in society? If there is a social or societal conversation that goes up, should we be waiting eagerly to hear what the influencers have to say?
They are more than just entertainers. They are thought leaders to some certain degree. They influence culture. They influence people's thought processes. They set trends. They shape opinions of people. And the sad reality is, although a lot of them don't want to accept it, I think we're getting better with them realizing that they're embarking in that journey, and in that space comes with a certain level of responsibility.
I see a differently in that, professionals are already good at their job, but there is an optionality that they might have to use the position that they hold in society to be able to deliver a message. This year you made the example of actors and actresses, so the same could apply to a sportsman. Just because someone someone's good at soccer doesn't mean that they have to have an influence over society from a specific standpoint.
Keeping you on the know and on the move. Whatever you want to hear about today's talk, you can only get it on the Upside. Every weekday, 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time.
(12 to 3 p.m. Central African Time. Ispam by Sjava. Huh? And we're not going to be holding back during what caught your eye this afternoon. There'll be bullets, there'll be gunshots, I don't know which guns these ones are that we are busy sounding. But we're going to be sharing what caught our eye this afternoon. Quite a few things. You're more than welcome to chime in on our conversation.
Okay.
I just saw your cards. Like at least mine are properly held. Like yours, it's like you're
What's
actually.
wrong with my
It's like you're
cards?
actually playing poker or something.
Well, that is the
It's
point.
so cool. I love that.
Don't
So
you just love it for me?
we'll be sharing. We'll be sharing what caught our eye right after the break. If you'd like to chime in on our conversations, you're more than welcome to do so on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. What caught your eye is coming up next.
Africa in Business on Channel Africa.
The United States was very vocal at the beginning of South Africa's G20 presidency, and this is largely due to strained relations with South Africa at the time, that they were not really keen on participating. Where do they stand right now?
The US is planning to take over the presidency of the G20 next year, and our understanding from them is that they intend to continue to do so, and therefore it is quite difficult then to be in a situation where you are not attending deputies' meetings or discussions during our presidency and then to take over the presidency next year. From a finance track perspective, there has been engagement. We've been working on a communique last week and this week here in Zimbabwe. What's important about that is that it's a consensus document. And so all the members in the room have to agree to the language that is used there. And our US colleagues have been part of those discussions and negotiations.
Bringing the African markets into your home. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Mmatsheko and Tebogo Lekhuleni on the upside.
All right, it's 10 minutes before 3 p.m. Central African time. It's time for What Caught Your Eye. And I'll stick to South Africa at the moment. As a country, I don't know if we are upset enough, angry enough with what's happening around us. We currently have the Mhlanga Commission into the policing and political interferences and so on and so forth. And now we find out that in Tembisa, the hospital, 2 billion rand has been looted. 2 billion rand has been looted, and this is according to the Special Investigating Unit, who released an interim report detailing widespread corruption, procurement fraud, and misappropriation of funds at Tembisa Hospital. It estimated over 2 billion rand meant for hospital operations was siphoned off by multiple syndicates. One of those syndicates was linked to a Hangwani Morgan Maumela. That syndicate, if I'm not mistaken, also includes Ket Matlala, if I'm not mistaken. And that's one of the biggest loots of them all. Around 816 million rand. And I'll break down what they bought with these 800 and what million rands. The other syndicate, Mazibugo syndicate, and then we've got a syndicate X, other small groups as well. And again, I ask the question, are we not angry enough as a country? Because when we look into these procurements, money that was supposed to go and treat people, hospital operations, has gone to buying Lamborghinis, Bentleys, and properties in Cape Town and other parts of South Africa. How have we allowed... And okay, now, before I get to how have we allowed, the former Minister of Health, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, who has been at the helm of the Ministry of Health for quite some time, quite a few years, I think over 11, 10 years, somewhere there. He says he was shocked at what is happening and what has happened. And in fact, he says that degree of looting and criminality is a high treason. And he likened it, he said, Here's what's happening in China. In China, if you do something like this, there's a death penalty. And in actual fact, if we were to propose the same thing to be done in South Africa, where we bring the death penalty, he would agree with it and say yes, because this is a high degree of treason. That 2 billion rand has been looted, supposed to go to treat people, improve the operational facilities in the hospitals, and it goes to someone's splurging and buying houses and cars. Are we not upset enough as a country? Does this not rage you, fill you with so much rage and say, so our tax money goes where? When 2 billion rand, when it's supposed to go and treat people, ends up in the pockets of people who just use it for their own leisure. What are you going to do with 4 Lamborghinis or whatever they bought of the same kind? That is just greed on another level. And then we ask the question, what happens now that the SIU has released this report? Are they going to be brought to the book? What happens to the money that has been looted? Will that be brought back? So many questions of accountability. But suffice to say, it's very unfortunate what's happening in the country of South Africa. And I don't know what will it take for South Africans and even Africa, when they're seeing problems of such corruption in their country, what will it take for us to come together and say, enough is enough? Very traumatized by this 2 billion rand being looted in the hospital. Earlier, someone was saying our hospitals are full of foreigners. That's why we can't, there's no capacity to treat them. No, it's not because there are too many foreigners. It's because the money that's supposed to ensure that there are enough beds and the operations are functioning smoothly are going to a Bantry Bay and a club somewhere where they are showing off to their
the baddies.
The baddies.
Yeah, it's to impress the baddies.
The baddies.
It is to impress the baddies.
We need to be angrier.
I repeat, it is to impress the baddies.
That's going on a T-shirt as well. There. To
Listen,
impress the baddies.
This is depressing and particularly distressing because it highlights the culture of impunity that continues, that persists. And for people in ministerial positions to sit there and be shocked, as though these are new revelations, is also equally distressing because it's news now, but we've seen how even whistleblowers, who bravely go out and expose wrongdoing are then faced with deadly consequences. So for you to sit there and talk about the death penalty and all of that, how deep-rooted corruption is in this country, and it's got to be dealt with decisively. For you to stand on a podium or any public platform and just talk about how absolutely disappointed you are and how this is at a certain level of treason, that's not going to help anything or anyone. And it is unfortunate that these are the people we call leaders, because at the end of the day, this is why society is just become so jaded. I mean, we've embraced public urination. We have embraced corruption. You open an app. Okay, well, I mean, we don't do newspapers anymore, but I mean, you just open any news app and you see that textbooks have been stolen, or 2 billion has been looted, or this one has murdered this one because they're whistleblowers. And we just laugh about it, because what else are we going to do? And at a level of, our daily lives, we've got so much that we're already dealing with. We're unemployed, that we don't have enough to feed our families. We don't have enough. You could have a job, but is it enough to get you through the month? Probably not. So those are the kinds of things that are kind of occupying ordinary citizens at this point, is how to put bread on the table, is how to just take care of the daily. So when you open a news app or you go on Twitter and you just see that somebody has taken 2 billion and therefore there will be no consequences, and you open another app and there's, people from radio stations that are that are talking, and they're so disgruntled. But I mean, there's 50 billion views for those videos, but then what happens? Where's the accountability? It looks cute that we're so enraged and have this, we're sussing out the emotional temperature and we're just following suit. This one was so disgruntled on radio, therefore I'm going to follow suit and be just as disgruntled. But are we doing anything about it? That's the question.
That's the question right there. And I'm very disappointed at the fact that they are pinning this on junior staff who have processed in the procurement process, who have processed tenders to the value of 500 million or something like that, and or along those lines. And they were the ones they are not the ones who approve these big tenders. Where are the higher ups? Where are the management who finally sign off on these massive tenders? Because when it comes to the procurement process, as far as I can remember, there's a certain limit that the junior staff can then process through their own structures.
Yeah.
Once it gets above that, you need the higher ups to chime in and sign off on these. And you mean to tell me that junior levels were approving such to the value of up to 2 billion rand?
Well, obviously there's an instruction that was given.
There's no way. These people must be held accountable. And we were saying earlier, Nepal was a very extreme case of what people do when they say enough is enough. And they stop work, they go out on the streets and say, we demand change. Are we at that point? Are we going to get to that point? Or, I can't leave my job today because I've got bills to pay. Therefore, I can't go and strike for change. It's 3 p.m. Central African Time. Let's get the latest news with Onel Nzinzi.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo. Looking at your top stories, Madagascar's capital calm today following protests and condolences for South Africa's ambassador to France pouring in. Your latest news. Greetings to our listeners. The streets of Madagascar's capital are reported to be calm today after days of protests that have routinely devolved into violent clashes with the police. Inspired by the so-called youth-led Gen Z protests in Kenya and Nepal, the 4 days of demonstrations have been the largest the Indian Ocean island has seen in years and the most serious challenge Rajoelina has faced since his re-election in 2023. President Andre Rajoelina first came to power in a 2009 coup. He stepped down in 2014 but became president again after winning the 2018 election and secured a third term in a December 2023 poll that his challengers said was marred by irregularities. The Forum for South Africa Social Justice and Human Rights Activists Organization has extended its condolences to the wife and family of the former minister and the country's ambassador to France, Nathi Mthethwa. Mthethwa reportedly died on Monday after falling from the 22nd floor at the Hyatt Hotel in Western Paris. FOSA's national leader, Tebogo Lekhuleni, however, says Mthethwa's time in office leaves no legacy to celebrate. Lekhuleni says the former minister left both the ministries of arts, culture and sports and of police in disarray under his leadership.
In the Ministry of Police especially, his tenure was marked by interference in operations as highlighted by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. This undermined the fight against crime, weakened morale within the service, and left the institution in decay. South Africa continues to bear the consequences of his failed leadership. FOSA believes that leaders must be held accountable for their record in office, even at the time of their passing. However, we also recognize the human side of laws.
South Africa's National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola says key witness crime intelligence head General Dumisani Khumalo is receiving the best medical care after falling sick this morning. Masemola says Khumalo felt unwell after arriving at the Bridget Mabandla Justice College in Pretoria. General Khumalo testimony is at the center of the inquiry, which is looking into criminal infiltration and political interference in the criminal justice system. Masemola says the Mhlanga Commission will be kept abreast of all developments pertaining to his condition and when he will be available to continue with his testimony. The Commission spokesperson, Jeremy Michaels.
Yes, absolutely. So I think it's very important for us to say that the hearing was scheduled to start at 9:30. There is nothing out of the ordinary except that General Khumalo is not feeling well. And of course, Justice Mhlanga took the decision to adjourn for the day instead.
Okay. Jeremy, take us through the in-camera.
President Dumaboko marked Botswana's 59th anniversary of independence yesterday with a call for unity, even as the economy is urging closer to crisis levels. Under normal conditions, citizens of the Southern African country will throng stadiums to hear about how the nation gained independence from the British on September 30th, 1966. But this year, it was a different ball game altogether. Most people resorted to playing social soccer as part of celebrating the country's independence. Delivering his maiden independence message, Boko pleaded with the citizens to remain united.
We are a force to reckon when we are united and working together. It is our togetherness that is the umbrella for democratic change. We made history by dethroning former ruling Botswana Democratic Party from power. It is only when we work in unison that we can overcome all the challenges that our country is facing and enduring, whether small or big. The African continent can only heal from the current crisis and develop socially and economically by working together.
Lastly, German police say the start of today's October 1st beer festival in Munich was delayed after an explosion and fire at a house in the city. They said the special forces were called in to defuse booby traps and the opening of the festival grounds was postponed as a precaution. The incident is thought to be linked to a domestic dispute. Thomas Schelhorn is a spokesperson for the police in Munich.
Since 4:45 this morning, we have been involved in a major operation here in Lerchenau together with the fire department. A single-family home was on fire. A seriously injured person was found near Lerchenau Lake. The extent to which this is related to the incident is currently being investigated.
Recapping on your top stories, the streets of Madagascar's capital are reported to be calm today after days of protests that have routinely devolved into violent clashes with the police. Inspired by the so-called youth-led Gen Z, protests in Kenya and Nepal, the 4 days of demonstrations have been the largest the Indian Ocean island has seen in years. Channel Africa News, I'm Onele Tsinzi.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Seven minutes into 3 p.m., the grand finale of the Wednesday edition of The Upside with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko Mhlanga. That's my name. We in each other's company until 4 p.m. in Central African time. So it is October and it's the beginning of the month. So many things worth celebrating, like the Wild Coast Sun as it is set to do some amazing things.
Host a silent disco night.
Amazing things.
Silent disco night. You said that you'd love to go to such an event.
I actually would really partake in this. I believe in this. Listen, I am a believer.
You're just gonna expose people's dance moves and lack of dance rhythm and all these things. Because sometimes we dance, especially those of us who don't have the rhythm to dance. We see other people dancing,
yeah,
right? And we listen to the beat also. Okay, the beat, and then we see someone moving. Like, oh, okay, they're doing that. Okay, let me. All right, based on the beat. Now you've got your own song playing in your own head. Right? Only you are listening to this one. And now you are just exposing the fact that I can't dance. All right? And that I'm going to look like a fool. And we're all going to be running around. I can picture it. I can actually picture
Beautiful.
it. Right?
Oh,
can you imagine?
Music to my ears.
A bunch of people on the beach just dancing. And it's silent.
Hey, wait.
That's exactly what's going to
Yes.
That's how it's going to sound like. From someone watching it from a distance, that's exactly what it's going to sound like.
Listen.
Silent disco night.
I love silent disco night as a concept, and I would love to experience it. Because listen, you've got to be an individual. Why must you be a sheep, huh?
It's gotta be
amongst
fantastic.
other sheep and copy them?
It's going to be great for the introverts or people who say, I'm an introvert. I don't like to do, no, I just want to do my own thing.
Do your own thing. Do your own thing. So we're going to explore that as a concept, but also see how it is making its way on the Wild Coast Sun, and what it involves, and how we can all attend, including Tebogo Lekhuleni. We're going to be speaking to Vuyisa King, who is event promotions manager at Wild Coast Sun, to tell us more about this event and what it's all about. But it really just, for me, it sounds exciting. We are ready to party and to be in concert.
It's 10 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. Don't go anywhere. That conversation is coming up next.
Parlez-vous couramment le français? Êtes-vous passionné par la radio? Et êtes-vous qualifié pour travailler en Afrique du Sud? Envoyez-nous votre CV et vos 3 minutes démo en MP3 à @channelafrica.co.za pour avoir une chance de rejoindre la famille Channel Africa. Si vous n'avez pas de réponse après 14 jours, cela signifie que vous n'avez pas été retenu. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
Broadcasting in 5 different languages, connecting the continent. This is Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Drop out. Alusa, don't be a drop out. Do your bad grades. Rolling on the high grade. And I'm thinking it's a mistake. Calling me a disgrace. Wakani lockdown. With your Wakani crop out. Teacher, don't teach me nonsense. Remember how you call me useless. Don't you know my gift is priceless? And my legacy been timeless. And I'm never working a 9 to 5. I wanna be a rude boy for life. I know that you made a sacrifice. You know I'm willing to pay the price. Mama, I don't wanna be the A student. Working for the B students. For company as C students. In the land of the D students. Oh mama, now my E students. Uku inje wana dasa na my bands. Oh, you know the end justifies the means. You better take your time, but don't waste it. I think I'm losing motivation. I'm sick and tired of all this fake shit. I need to find a revelation. It takes a nation to raise a man, but it takes a woman to bless the nation. And music is the best education. I'm a preaching to the fucking congregation, telling me nonsense. I can't be munanganga useless. All the son of Connie me digress. You ADHD, see your madness. And I know you're judging me cause I'm high. Can't keep a job in a suit and tie. Can't keep time, but when it's my time, I know you all gonna testify. Have a moment of silence for the A students. Working for the B students. Got company as C students. In the land of the D students. Oh mama, now my E students. Uku inje wana tasana my bands. Oh, you know the end justifies the means.
13 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time, Bien, with the song titled A Student. Beautiful music coming to you on the upside, your gateway to the good life on Channel Africa, the African perspective. We are still live from our Auckland Park studios in Johannesburg, South Africa, and you can catch us live, see our lovely studio on social media at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. All right, we get ready now to have a conversation about a silent disco, which Mmatsheko says would be a brilliant idea and she would love to attend. I'm still very no, I'm a bit no. For me, only because I can't dance. That's the only reason.
Maybe that's the problem, but I promise you, Vuyiswa King is going to convert you. Because, look, it looks like the Wild Coast Sun is turning their banqueting lawns into something quite special, all right? And it's happening this October. The Wild Coast Sun is setting up to ignite something amazing, and it's coming your way. So instead of the loudspeakers that you know, the booming basses, the party goers are going to slip into a wireless headphone situation, okay, as I understand it. So think of being outdoors and experiencing a silent disco is what this is going to be all about. So this is basically a chance to be under the stars, by the coast, by the sea, and choose your own groove, okay? And then as the DJ spins live across multiple channels, then you get to just put your headsets on and then just color the space with your dance moves. Whether you have two left feet, two right feet, one right foot, one left foot, it doesn't matter. You're all invited. So on the line with us is Vuyiswa King. She is Events and Promotions Manager at the Wild Coast Sun, as we talk about this very innovative idea, if we could call it that. Vuyiswa, welcome to Channel Africa. A pleasure to talk to you.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are your dance moves? Let's rate them from 1 to 10. What are your dance moves like, lady?
Yeah, two left feet.
Two left feet.
I have two left feet. But you know what? I enjoy music.
Right.
And I think anybody who enjoys music would definitely enjoy this experience. And we call it an experience. And this is how I always, whenever somebody asks me, what is the silent disco?
Yes.
And I always say to them, imagine walking into a party. You've been invited to a party. And you walk in, there's no sound. But everyone's singing and dancing and laughing. And you're just standing there like, wait, what's going on? What's going on? And that's the coolest part of it, because the minute you put on those headphones, boom, you are instantly part of the weirdness. You are immersed in that experience. It is so beautiful to watch and very silly to watch at the same time. But it is a brilliant concept. It's not new. It's been done in various parts of the country, and we've decided to bring it to the Wild Coast.
So I've never been to a silent disco. We've seen it on the social medias, and for most of us, like that's so ridiculous. That's so weird. That's so funny. Like people are just dancing around. I want to know, on your headsets, are you listening to the same song as everyone else at the time, or can you switch around to different songs so that you can dance to your own thing?
So basically, this is how our setup is going to be. We're going to have three different DJs, okay, which means there are going to be three different channels. So on the actual headphones themselves, you can switch between the DJs. You can be listening to Amapiano 1 second, the next and then you decide, you know what, I need to tone it down a little bit, and you want to listen to your old school R&B, or you want to vibe to some electro, depending on your vibe, then you can switch in between the channels.
Okay, it sounds interesting. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, I really want to find out how this wonderful silent disco can become social. Because as it stands, many may have a concern around, it being antisocial, because you're just on your headphones and you're listening to your own thing. But let's find out. We are in conversation with Vuyiswa King in her capacity as event and promotion manager at the Wild Coast Sun, talking about how they are turning their banqueting lawns at the Wild Coast Sun and transforming them to host this wonderful silent disco as we're hearing it. 18 minutes past 3 p.m. We're back after this.
Darubini ya Afrika na I am Henry Shakif.
Vita kule imezungumzwa pia DRC, lakini Somalia, Sudani Kusini, kumekuwa kuna vita za hapa na pale. Katika mkutano huu, unadhani hili lingekuwa ni kipaumbele?
Ni kipaumbele kikubwa kama unavyomwona waziri wa sheria wa zamani Yvonne kutoka Namibia alivyozungumza, ni kwamba kwanza inasikitisha watu tunapojikuta kwamba mataifa nje ndio yanashiriki kutupatanisha. Hii inaonyesha hatuaminiani, na pia tumekubali kutumiwa kwa sababu hawa wanatupatanisha wana ajenda zao, wana kitu wananufaika.
Na kama vile wewe ambavyo umezungumza, umekuja hapa kama mwakilishi, na leo ndo mkutano huu na siku 3 na leo ndo siku ya kwanza, pengine tutegemee nini kupitia mkutano huu?
Kitu kikubwa ambacho nataka kujifunza hapa ni namna gani tutarudi nyumbani na kuweka ukaribu, ile bondi kati yetu sisi na wale wanaotuwakilisha. Kusiwe na ukuta, kusiwe na kutoaminiana, na pia wale wanapopewa madaraka wasijisi wamekuwa wakubwa zaidi, kwa sababu wale ni watumishi.
Darubini ya Afrika kila Jumatatu hadi Ijumaa kuanzia saa 11 kamili hadi saa 12 kamili jioni majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
This is The Upside for the best African vibes, groundbreaking content.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. We are talking about the Wild Coast Sun preparing to host this coming weekend what is known as a silent disco. Yes, you heard right. It's an outdoor experience that's going to be taking place outside at their banqueting lawns at the Wild Coast Sun. And we're really just talking about the idea of a silent disco, what to expect, how many DJs are there, what's going to be happening, all of that. Vuyiswa, let's talk about how you make an event of this nature social. So what happens at a disco? Obviously, there's music, there's people, there's drinks flowing. Talk to us about how you make it social, or is the point to make it antisocial? I don't know. Please explain that to us.
The point is not to make it antisocial.
Right.
We believe that this is a shared experience because everyone's dancing together. Even though it's kind of like when you are when you're at a party with your friends, all right, and you have different tastes in music with your friends.
Right.
One friend may end up getting bored because I'm not really I'm a piano fan. So what does that friend do? Instead of them walking away and being elsewhere, you're giving them to be an experience, to be part of that experience with you, right? So you can actually even share with your friends and say, hey, listen to this song. I think you like it. You can even interchange between your friends with the headphones, like listen to this song or listen to this DJ. I think you would really like that. People actually have conversations, very loud conversations, during silent disco, because obviously the music is really loud in their ears, but they'll be talking to them.
Oh man, I love it. Dance to the rhythm of the madness in you. I love it.
Yeah, it is. We believe it is interactive, and this is something that actually can also be a family-orientated event. You can bring your young ones as well. Bring your young ones. We'll have a bar there for the older people. That's great. If your young ones want to be included in that, they can be part of this experience as well.
Who are the
So it's
Oh, so sorry to budget
no,
there.
no worries.
So I just wanted to find out who are the DJs who will be performing. You said 3 DJs on the night. Who will be? Yeah.
Yes, sorry to cut you. We've got our local resident DJ Mayo, and she is very diverse because she plays out at our Molo Lounge. Um, and then we've got DJ Ria coming all the way from Pietermaritzburg. Also quite diverse, but very popular in the Indian markets. And then we've got DJ Spike. DJ Spike is coming all the way from Durban. And again, he is very a mix between electro. He's the music that I don't listen to. But he's quite versatile or from that perspective. So what we've tried to do is get different types of DJs that can cater to our different types of markets. So we've got our black DJ who plays the amapianos, who plays the hip hop, who plays the who will be playing the what you call the house, and then we're going to have somebody that basically is also very cross-dimensional, who is a DJ Ria, and then we're going to have Spike, who's speaking mostly to, I would say, to our Caucasian markets.
Okay, Vuso, let's talk about the other attractions then. What else is going to feature as part of the silent disco, just to make the night more enjoyable?
Yes, we are obviously going to have drinks, as you said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Drinks are going to be flowing. We're going to have a bar, but the main attraction is obviously you being under the stars, and dancing under the stars. So the attraction here is the nature, and where the banqueting lawns is actually situated, you have the most beautiful sea view. So now imagine when the sun is setting and you are able to be dancing in under that sunset in the stars when the sun has gone down. So it's all about that experience.
It sounds like quite the experience. I can already picture it in my mind. I see Vuyiswa here. It's going to start at 5 o'clock and end at 8. Which disco ends at 8, Vuyiswa?
The reason why we did it like that was because we wanted to cater, because we are very family orientated. We wanted to cater for people who wanted to bring their kids as well. This is why we made it a bit earlier. And then people from there, because we also have Kai and friends coming through to Molo Lounge on Saturday, then people who want to stay, the older, obviously if you are over 18, you can then come and join us at Molo Lounge for another music experience at our lounge. We don't call it a club, at our lounge, which is called Molo Lounge.
Wonderful.
So there's there's a lot that will be happening. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Where do we get tickets?
CompuTickets, 150 rand. And if you buy them on CompuTickets, you will actually get 2 tickets. But if you buy it at the door, you will only get 1 ticket. So.
Okay,
that's amazing.
And tickets are limited, so you can go to CompuTicket, and also if you're not familiar with CompuTicket, you can go to suninternational.com for more information. Vuyiswa, which song would get you up and about right now?
Sister Bettina.
Sister Bettina.
Why not?
So that's the song that the DJ should be lighting up for you on Saturday then.
Right.
And then just as we close off the conversation, weather. Because I would imagine it's an outdoor event, yes. What's the forecast at the moment? Is it going to be a day that people don't have to worry about in terms of rain outside on a Saturday?
We've checked, yeah, we've had a lot of rain during this week. We've checked the weather for this weekend. We did have an alternative plan should the weather change, but we've checked. The weather is going to be beautiful.
Okay, sounds
So,
amazing.
yeah,
Well, all
yeah.
the best.
Thank
We're
you
gonna
so
be
much.
watching online because I'm gonna be in the bush. But thank you very much, Vuyisa. All the best with this. I think it's a wonderful concept, and you have sold it to us. So one day we're gonna be there.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you
Absolute
so
pleasure.
much.
So hopefully next time you'll come and actually join us.
Definitely, I would love to experience a silent disco. 100%.
And just come to experience the Wild Coast. We'd love to have you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Vuyisa. All the best for
Awesome.
Saturday. Hey.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sure. Thank you very much. That was the voice of Vuyiswa. And we were talking, Vuyiswa King, I beg your pardon. She was talking to us in her capacity as event and promotion manager at Wild Coast Sun as they prepare to host the silent disco. The silent disco.
Are you sold?
I'm sold. Listen, I have been sold. What music would you like to hear in your headphones if you were to attend something like this? Mapiano, jazz, sokos, rumba.
My problem is that me, R&B, that's me.
Rhythm and blues.
Yeah, rhythm and blues. That's me. Not
okay.
I'm a piano. Yeah.
Not quite your thing.
Maybe as a backup.
No, but I mean,
the main thing would have been R&B.
For disco, that would be nice. You could do like Montel Jordan. You know that line. Okay, LL Cool J is a bit of rap, but no, not quite. No, not that extreme.
But yes, a bit of R&B for me. What would it be for you?
Listen, it would have to be the music that artists like Fali Ipupa makes. The Congolese rumba. Oh my goodness, I would have such a good time. The Ndombolo, the Sokos. That's my sound right there.
I can actually see it happening.
Oh man,
listen,
I would have such a good time.
And also, you brought up the social element. I can see the social leg to this, because imagine we've got 3 DJs right on the night. You're going to start dancing according to that particular DJ's set, right? I feel like the ones who are dancing to that particular DJ will gravitate to one another. They'll be like, oh yeah, we're dancing to the same rhythm. Oh, you listen to the same song. Anyway, it's 30 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. Let's get the final sports update with Musibudi Makura.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you so much, Tebogo. Very good afternoon once again from the sports desk. I will start with football news. So Malawi's head coach Kalisto Pasua has maintained 24 of the 26 players who featured in last month's FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Namibia as well as Liberia in his final 25-man squad for the upcoming encounters against Equatorial Guinea as well as Sao Tome and Principe. So the Flames will host Equatorial Guinea on the 9th of October at Bingu National Stadium before travelling to Tunis for the away fixture against Sao Tome and Principe on the 13th of October. So Coach Pasawa's charges are expected now to regroup in Lilongwe and this coming Sunday, the 5th of October, to begin their preparations for the upcoming qualifiers. In cricket news now, New Zealand batter Rachin Ravindra has been ruled out of the T20 International Series against Australia at Bay Oval. This after suffering a facial laceration during a training session. Now, New Zealand Cricket Board said on Wednesday, earlier on today, that Ravindra had collided with a boundary hoarding during fielding practice and needed intricate stitching for the injury to his upper lip as well as nose. The head coach of the side, Rob Walter, said the team felt for Ravindra. Now, all-rounder Jimmy Neeson now has been called up to the squad too, in the place of Ravindra for the series which starts at the Bay Oval later on today. So game 2 is on Friday with the third and final match on Saturday at the same venue. And staying with our cricket news, so cricket fever peaks as the defending champions Australia face off with New Zealand at the ICC Women's ODI World Cup. That match is currently on the go at the moment between these two sides. And earlier on, Australia electing to bat first after winning the toss, and they were bowled out for 326 for the loss of bowled out for 326. This after 49 overs. Essentially, what this now means is that New Zealand needed 327 runs to win their first match of this year's Cricket ODI Women's World Cup. On to some athletics news now. Shaun Maswanganyi, who ran the South African sprinter, Shaun Maswanganyi, who has to deal now with the negative feedback after fans blamed him for the country's 4x100 meter relay failure in Tokyo, Japan at the World Athletics Championships. So speaking to SABC Sport for the very first time after being impeded by Italy's Marcel Jacobs while running the first leg, the clash also forced him to abandon the race, with the baton never reaching teammate Sinosipo Dambile. Maswanganyi says that he'll just have to take it on the chin, despite also feeling that he was not at fault, and also saying that he's quite tired about being blamed for everything that went wrong in the team's performance out in Tokyo, Japan.
The first thing in my mind when I got knocked on my face was, let me still try to keep going. You know, there's two different angles which one shot on TV, and in those angles you can literally see me still trying to make an advance and still try to chase down Dambile and try to get the pass off. But by then, you know, he was already out the zone. It was over with. After I took 4 more strides after I got knocked, it was over with. He was already gone.
Of course, here he was urging the fans to remember that television angles don't always capture the full intensity of incidents that happen in a split second. But nonetheless, he says that he has been the scapegoat for Team South Africa when it comes to relays, finals for the South African nation at world events.
Only thing I can do is just shake it off and, just try to be the best person I can be, because at the end of the day, whenever something doesn't go right, someone has to be blamed. Even if the person might not be at fault, the blame has to be put on somebody, and, it is what it is. If I'm going to be the country scapegoat, it is what it is. I see people saying, oh, it's always me, and then, they can't even name any other time really I messed up the relay. But, at the end of the day, when you're doing something right, not everyone's going to not everyone's going to be a fan of you. They love you one day, they hate you the other.
Right, so that concludes your sports news this afternoon. On the upside, as always, for any sports stories you'd like to share with us, send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Give us a call as well on +27 11714 4459. I'm back with the final sports update for the afternoon in the next hour for Channel Africa Sport. I am Musibudi Makura.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Africa in business on Channel Africa.
The United States was very vocal at the beginning of South Africa's G20 presidency, and this is largely due to strained relations with South Africa at the time, that they were not really keen on participating. Where do they stand right now?
The US is planning to take over the presidency of the G20 next year, and our understanding from them is that they intend to continue to do so, and therefore it is quite difficult then to be in a situation where you are not attending deputies' meetings or discussions during our presidency and then to take over the presidency next year. From a finance track perspective, there has been engagement. We've been working on a communique last week and this week here in Zimbabwe. What's important about that is that it's a consensus document. And so all the members in the room have to agree to the language that is used there. And our US colleagues have been part of those discussions and negotiations.
Bringing the African markets into your home. Channel Africa, the African perspective. The upside. On the upside, your voice matters.
15:36, we're going to check in for the last time with the business desk. Tebogo Lekhuleni has the latest.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you, Mmatsheko. Good afternoon. Let's start in Nigeria. Oil workers in the country have agreed to call off a strike after talks with the government officials and management and the Dangote refinery, owned by Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote. The strike had forced Nigeria's grid operator to ration electricity to avoid a nationwide blackout, as gas supplies plunged on the second day of a walkout by workers at the refinery. The BBC's Ijeoma Ndukwe has the details.
Officials at the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria say the row was triggered after more than 800 of its members were dismissed from the Dangote refinery for joining the union. After a 2-day impasse, management at what is Africa's largest refinery has agreed to reassign staff to other jobs within the Dangote group without loss of pay. The Labour Minister, who mediated the talks, told the meeting that unionisation was a right of workers and should be respected.
Ghana's ban on its pension funds from offshore investments is curtailing their ability to hedge risks as authorities seek to jumpstart the domestic bond market in the wake of its sovereign debt restructuring. The Ghanaian government has blocked funds from putting workers' cash into offshore investments last year after concluding a restructuring of its local and foreign debts, which decimated its local debt market. The ban was designed to reduce pressure on the cedi currency. Experts have warned that uncertainty over jobs and trade still hangs over South Africa following the expiration of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA. Political economist Professor Patrick Bond says in the absence of any relief on AGOA, South African goods will now face standard tariffs on exports to the US. This while certain products such as copper, pharmaceuticals and certain minerals are exempt. Bond says US President Donald Trump's tariffs on South African goods have led to a sharp drop in the country's exports to the US during the second quarter of this year.
So we're still at 30%, and I think for the most crucial exports hit hard now are since end of July are in citrus and the vineyard products, the wine and the grapes, and also macadamia nuts. So we're going to see lots of job losses in agriculture.
Acting Premier of the Eastern Cape Province in South Africa, Mlungisi Mvoko, has called on automotive companies to expand their markets into African countries amidst concerns of rising global trade tariffs. Mvoko was speaking during the first day of the much-anticipated SA Auto Week in Gqeberha. The 3-day gathering will see an influx of automotive giants discussing ways to make the environment more competitive. The Auto Week comes at the backdrop of the closure of Goodyear Tire Manufacturing Company, with some automotive companies laying off workers. Mvoko says it is imperative that businesses find long-term solutions to attract investors.
I don't think the automotive industry is aggressive in going into Africa. I mean, we've got Ford manufacturing the Ranger and Amarok and Rosaline. And we've got all the trucks here that we manufactured in the country. And those are things that are needed in Africa. We are not aggressive in Africa. So this is part of the talks that we are having with them to say we must be aggressive. But we're also talking to ECDC. ECDC is an entity that is entrusted with the trade and investment of our provinces to say, now you must go at the
Meta Platforms says it will begin using people's interactions with its generative AI tools to personalize content and advertising across its apps such as Facebook and Instagram, starting on the 16th of December. Meta says users will be notified on the changes from the 7th of October, and they will not have an option to opt out, though the update applies only to those who use Meta AI. Meta says users' interactions with its AI features, whether by voice or text, will be added to existing data such as likes and follows to shape recommendations for content and ads, including reels and ads. Let's have a look at financial indicators. $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 482. In Botswana, 13 pula 20. Kenya, the dollar is 128 shilling 401. Zambia, 23 kwacha 80. BRICS countries, $1 in Brazil is at 5 real 32. Russia, 82 rubles 68. India, 88 rupees 79. China, 71.12. South Africa, $1 is 17 rand 26 cents. $1 is 74 pence to the British pound, and 1.85 to the euro. Looking at commodities, gold is at $3,882, platinum at $1,578 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is trading at $65.70 a barrel. That is all for now. For any stories you'd like to share with us, please send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za, or you can call us on +27 11714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I am Chandruko Ligege.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective. This September, Channel Africa celebrates Heritage Month, a time to honor the stories, the rhythms, and the languages that make us who we are. Whether you're in Lagos or the shores of Zanzibar, to the mountains of Lesotho or the markets of Dakar, we are united in diversity.
Najivunia kuwa Mwafrika.
Kukondolera Afrika ndiye ndu wake.
Proudly African and fabulous.
Let us preserve our languages. Let's embrace our uniqueness. Let's embrace our cultures and celebrate the beauty of our continent. Channel Africa, the African perspective. On Open Views Audio Bouquet. Channel 628. No matter where you are, Channel Africa is always with you.
Nine minutes before 4 p.m. Central African time, a double play there. Oh, what a wonderful double play it was indeed. Yele B was the first one we listened to by Hallelujah Tekla Sadiq, right? And then we had that last song there, Africa by Alif Naba, also known as the Barefoot Prince. Do we still have barefoot princes and princesses on the African continent who perform without shoes? They just prefer being grounded. We don't have many of that you can think of.
We do actually. It's actually very ritualistic for us. Whether it's musicians from the Reunion Islands, like Maya Kamati, I've seen her perform barefoot as well.
Amanda Black.
Amanda Black does it as well, 100%. And also a woman that's championed the idea of performing without shoes is the late great barefoot diva Cesaria Evora. So to have a wonderful Burkinabe artist also kind of champion that is beautiful. He's also of royal heritage. So it's kind of also, practice through his lineage, and he celebrates his lineage by taking his shoes off. So I think it's a beautiful thing.
I love that. You see, we are learning. 8 minutes before 4 p.m. Central African time. Don't go anywhere. On the other side of this, we hand over to the Queen of Africa in business. That's Tami Ngubeni.
madapiri pazoshitika
boma la dziko la south sudan alengeza kuti wachiwiri kwa mtsogoleri wa dzikolo Riek Machar akuyenera kuyankha mlandu ofuna kulanda dziko wakupha komanso okonza ziwawa, ndipo mtolankhani wathu nkummawa kwa africa Afresa Unene akuwunikirapo.
muchikalata chomwe chinalengezedwa ndi nduna yoona zamalamulo komanso chilungamo ya dziko la south sudan, chikalatachi chinalengeza kuti wachiwiri kwa president wa dzikolo Riek Machar apezeka ndi milandu yokupha, yofuna kuwukira boma komanso kulanda dziko ndi kuyambitsa ziwawa. Riek Machar akhala akusungidwa mokakamizidwa ku nyumba kwawo kuyambira mwezi wa Marichi chaka chino. Mwezi wa Marichiwu asilikali omwe mbuyomu anali mgulu lomwe limagwira ntchito limodzi ndi Machar anamenyana ndi asilikali a boma a South Sudan Defense Forces SPDF mu chigawo cha White Nile dziko
zochitika pa nthawi ya 6 koloko kufikira 7 koloko madzulo, lolemba mpaka lachisanu ndi madapiri.
It's 7 minutes before 4 p.m. Central African time. All right, I wanted to read some of the comments that we received yesterday during What Caught Your Eye. Right, and as we did in the previous day as well, where we reflected on the comments that you leave us with on social media, particularly on X. Oh, not on X, on TikTok. I apologize. At Channel Africa 1 on X. And yesterday, we were talking about the very suspicious passing of the former police minister, former arts and culture minister in South Africa, and then ambassador to France at some point. And some of the comments, I mean, had me in stitches here. I mean, obviously the story itself is nothing to laugh about. Umguni here. It says something very, and listen, I don't mean to be bringing up brands or anything like that, but I'm just reading out the comment here. Something very ocean basket, and in brackets, fishy is going on, Lana. Raising a concern about the suspicious way in which the former minister passed away.
Comment.
Because I remember he fell from a 22-floor hotel. The hotel is much larger, much taller than that, but on the 22nd floor was where he was at, and he fell from that to his death. And people are raising an eyebrow or two, saying it's rather suspicious, is it not? And then we've got other comments here. You're another conspiracy theorist. Saying Mhlanga commission is now clear. What, I don't know why he specifically went here and said what Ramaphosa was looking for. Why see, now they're throwing people's names into the conspiracy list there. Some of the interesting comments we're getting on all this, because we don't know what happened. There's no clear.
That's the thing.
There's no clear investigation and results of what happened, how it happened. Now suicide is being brought into the picture as well, because of the commission happening. Him being a former minister, police minister, and the current commission who's investigating into the corruption in the policing itself. Too many conspiracies now.
Yeah, also because there's so many moving pieces and parts in the story, I'm not sure where we are in terms of the French investigation, because the last I checked, we were waiting for them to conclude their investigation. And then, the story can develop from there. But I don't know where we are with that, because as it stands, the conclusion is that it's a suicide. But there's still too many moving pieces and parts in the story. And I don't know how far we are, to be perfectly honest. I haven't followed, because I mean, also it's a lot. Got to take a break sometimes. But the last I checked, we were still waiting for conclusions from the French investigation on this matter.
Now, I don't know how true this is, and obviously we'll check in and see exactly where it's coming from, but it's alleged that he had sent a message to the wife, right, and said, listen, I'm thinking of taking my own life, along those lines.
I mean,
I don't know.
We don't know about that. We live in a world where there's AI, so we don't know. We don't know what we don't know.
We don't know what we don't know.
We don't know what we don't know.
We don't know what we don't know. But we love hearing your comments and your engagements on our social media platforms at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. Go on there now so you can interact with our What Caught Your Eyes and the other videos on Channel Africa as well, so that we can comment and say a big thank you to you for listening to The Upside and for engaging with the show. We're gonna hand over now and say goodbye to you, Upsiders. Tami Ngubeni is coming up next, the Queen of Africa in Business.
Absolutely, an hour of solid business news just after the news bulletin with Onele Nzinzi. Have yourself a beautiful afternoon. It was great. We're back for... We're not...
Yeah, we're back some other time.
Yeah, another day. Okay, yeah, I'm not in. Tebogo's not in. So we will see you next week. Oh my goodness.
It's technically our Friday.
Technically, it is our Friday. Although, keep listening to the show. We really appreciate it. And keep commenting on our videos on TikTok. We really appreciate, and we read every single comment. So thank you for listening and for watching the show, for commenting on our TikTok. Thank you very much to the team. It was awesome.
All right. Bye-bye.